Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. As always, we are divinely blessed and granted and honored with the opportunity to seize yet another day. As you can tell by the title of my video today, I'm doing a story time based on my experience working at the morgue. So let's get into it. Anyways, I was around the ages of 21. Yes, I was 21 years old. And before that, I'd only just been to school. So I'd never had a job before that. This was my first job ever. And for me to get this job, my father actually helped me get this job. Ne? He hooked me up. Ne? But this was just supposed to be like a casual temp type of job, where I just help with paperwork, with tea, with cleaning, those smaller nyana jobs because I was also a smaller nyana girl. So I worked for this particular company where my dad hooked me up, and I was just supposed to help them with those small things. And then when I got there, because my dad never explained to me like what kind of company it is, what do they do, and all of that. He was like, there's just these ladies, you go there, you help them. They said you can come for an interview. And even when I got there for the interview, um, the ladies never actually explained to me what exactly was happening there. And I guess I was also just young and naive that I didn't even ask because it was my first ever interview ever in my life. So, and during the interview, they just asked me questions like about myself and all of that. So we didn't really get into the whole nitty gritty of what actually happens there. And I think I actually also didn't care because in my mind it was like, "Ah, it's just a small job, just for now, and then till I get something better. And so I started working for them. They took me immediately. I started a few days after that interview, and I was doing exactly what I thought I would be doing, just helping out with the cleaning, the paperwork, assisting with the clients and all of that, just those small things, doing their banking and all of that. What I was expecting I would be doing. But now, here's the weird part. There was this room that had coffins in it, like real life coffins. And I'd never been exposed to that before. So I was like, what is going on in that room? You know, okay, I saw these boxes, but in my mind, I didn't even know what they were for or what was going on in that room or whatever. And the scary part is that the safe was kept in that room. Um, with the coffins. So every time I have to help with like banking and all of that, I had to go through that room with the coffins to get to the safe so I can go to the bank. And the clients used to come in with these little books that they had. And they would come in with those books and they had money and they were paying for those books and they get a receipt and all of that. And I didn't understand what was going on, because I guess I was just focused on the whole cleaning, helping out thing that I was doing. I wasn't actually paying attention to what the ladies were actually doing when they were working during the day. Yeah, and I just did their banking and that. So only later on do I then realize that, oh, okay, this is actually some kind of funeral insurance policy thing going on where people are coming in, your grannies and all of that. They're coming in with these books to come and pay and all of that. Until this one time, there was this family that came in and they were there to like arrange a funeral. And I guess that's when it hit me that, okay, what was going on here is that this was actually like a funeral parlor type of situation. Prior to that, I had no idea that there was such things as funerals. Like personally growing up as a child, like it's not like now where you watch TV and there's all these companies selling insurance policies and advertising funerals and all of that. When we were growing up, you wouldn't see those things. All we knew was these cartoons that play on TV, and your generations and Ustumo and all of that. But it wasn't like now where funeral and insurances are so widely advertised and exposed and all of that. So me growing up, I never saw a hearse walking by or heard there was a funeral, or, like I didn't know that when a person actually passes away, they must go to the mortuary and then they have a funeral and all of that. Like, I didn't know that. So I think the first time I actually can remember myself attending a funeral was my grandmother's funeral. And even then, I was still young and confused and didn't understand what was going on. Why were people crying? Why was my grandmother in this coffin or box? Or like I didn't understand what was going on. I was that young, and I guess I was just naive when it comes to things like funerals and people passing away and all of that. So I was never exposed to all of that stuff, so I didn't even know that when people die they actually get like a formal funeral. Because growing up I never got to see any of that. So anyways, I put two and two together, and eventually I realized that, okay, when these grannies come here with their books to come and pay, they're actually paying the insurances so that should they pass away they can actually get a funeral. That's when it clicked that, oh, okay, so this is actually a funeral parlor. And then a couple of weeks later, the manager, big manager, comes in, and I'd only met him a couple of times. I still remember him. He was a very cool, very chilled, very nice guy. I'd only came across him like a couple of times, and generally I'm just a shy person. So when I see like new people around and all of that, like I mind my own business. I quickly like clear away and hide away and stuff like that. But I don't know. I guess those couple of times that I saw him, he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, you know, and he was like, I have a bigger office than this, and I need someone to go and fill a certain position. So I'm taking you from this office. No interview, nothing like that. He was like, I'm taking you from this office and we are going to the other office. And so the only time I had an interview was when I was actually now at that other bigger office. That's when I then got my second formal interview, or my first formal interview. And that's how I got the job. And next thing I know, I've got my own office. I've been given my own office. This is your office. This is where you're going to be working. And I'm like, what exactly am I going to be doing here? I can see you're giving me an office, but what exactly am I going to be doing here? And it was then explained to me that no, I would be assisting families with arranging of the funerals. And I was like, huh? Me? I don't know anything about funerals. I don't know anything about insurance or dead people. Like, I don't know anything about that. And I must assist people with their funerals. Okay. But because at that time I was young, trying to impress, I was a hard worker, I'm quick at learning. Okay, I'm still that person. But when you're young, you're so naive, you're like, yes, I can do this, I will learn this. I was like, and trust me, I did learn it. In like 2 weeks, I could do the job with my eyes closed. So that's how I started working there at the mortuary. But now there comes this one weird day, and I can't remember if I was looking for something or looking for someone. But I remember myself going through different offices, opening doors and all of that. So I can't remember if I was specifically looking for a certain person or if I was looking for something. I then came across this door, and the door said chapel. And being me, not knowing anything about funerals, I didn't even know what a chapel is. Ne? So I came across the store, and the store says chapel. And because I would kept going through door and office looking for whatever I was looking for, I just randomly opened the door. you know, just, but then I saw a figure and I closed the door again. And I was like, what did I just see? you know? And so I slowly, the second time, opened the door again. And as I opened the door again, I realized there was an old makoko that was laying there on like a little table surface thing that was going on there, like a bed almost type of situation. And she was covered in a blanket and all of that. And I'm like, what in the world is going on in here, you know? And then I closed the door again. And then I think I stood there for like a few minutes until it hit me that, oh, I just saw a dead person. But then because my mind was in such a rush because of whatever I was looking for or whoever I was looking for, I quickly moved from the thought of the makoko that I saw, you know. And the weird part is I didn't even feel anything about it, you know. I felt, yes, I felt weird, like, okay, who's that? Why are they sleeping there? You know, but I didn't like feel scared or traumatized or wanting to scream or anything like that. Like I had no feelings whatsoever. And even when I got home, I told my parents, I was like, I went to this room, I opened the door, and this is what I saw. But I wasn't traumatized by it or anything. Like I didn't have any feelings towards it to an extent that when I went to sleep at night, like I just slept like I always slept. Like everything felt normal. I didn't even think about what I'd seen during the day, you know? And then that's when I realized that, oh, the guys that work at the back actually work in the morgue. Like I'd only spent the time at the front of the office. So when all these guys kept coming in with the cars and in and out, and they're so busy, they have documents and all of that, I just thought they were part of the office, they're like your delivery guys and all of that. I didn't realize that there was an actual morgue behind the offices. That's when I thought about it like, oh my gosh, there's an actual morgue here, like a fridge, like there's actual dead people in these premises, you know. But for some odd reason, instead of me shying away or being scared of the fact that there's, because if it was somebody else, they would have been like, oh no, I'm not doing this. I'm quitting this job. No, 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 Dad, I can't do this. I'm going to quit this job. No, there's dead people and whatnot. But for some odd reason, the fact that there was dead people in the premises made me want to stay in the job even more. Like, and my interest actually shift from the front office to me wanting to be more exposed to what was happening at the back. Because my job basically was to consult with the families. So if someone passes away, I'm the one that consults with the family and helps them arrange the funeral, from choosing the coffin that they want to arranging the flowers, the funeral pamphlets, doves if they need doves, the clothing that they want to bring in for the family to dress in, and the scheduling the funeral and the bookings and booking the graves and all of that. That was my job, the office part of the job, you know. But for some odd reason, the bag was just more interesting to me and more fascinating to me than what I was supposed to be doing at the front. So I realized that as time went on and years went by, because I worked there for almost 8 years, I found the back more interesting than the front. So I would be like at the back, washing the cars, cleaning the mortuary, helping with the coffining, dressing the deceased people. Like I literally dress them, like stockings, t-shirts, socks, whatever. Like I would be there, like whether it was children, adults, whatever, like I would be there doing that. And I don't know why, but something about them just laying there so peaceful, not moving, not saying anything. It was just weird. you know, it was just weird, but it was weird in a very fascinating way where I couldn't wait to wake up and go back to work again and see what are we doing today, or who are we helping today, or whose funeral are we preparing today, who are we coffining, like I was there helping, carrying the coffin, counting the stock, like I was there, like there. And I didn't understand what the fascination was about, And the weird thing is, I didn't have any feelings towards this, in all the time that I've worked there. I can't even tell you one time where I could say I went to sleep, I dreamt about dead people, I woke up and I was so traumatized. None. I lived my life, I carried on with the rest. Like, I would watch grown men, like big grown men, be like, no, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there. You know, when it came to the part of washing and dressing of your family and stuff like that, there was literally people that literally could not stand it, and I would find it so weird. Like, why are they scared? Because there's nothing scary that's going on that side. It's just people that are just laying there, it's I don't know, I just had no emotion about it, but I think it goes back to the fact that prior to me working there, I'd never been exposed to that type of environment. You know, I was never exposed to funerals or dead people or seeing a hearse or all of that. So in my world, it did not exist. So I was coming in there as a blank page. And I guess that's why I had no preconceived emotions or anything like that before coming into the job. I was literally just coming into the job with my pure innocence, because I really did not know anything about funerals and all of that before I started working there, And so I guess maybe that's why I wasn't so greatly affected or traumatized by it, because it was something new to me. When you watch a scary movie, the next time you have to watch a scary movie, it's like you're already scared before you even watch the movie, because you now know that a scary movie is supposed to be scary. But with me, I didn't know that funerals or dead people and all of that was a taboo, because to most people it's a taboo, So I didn't know that because I'd never been exposed to that before in my life. So to me, it was just something new, and I was just going with the flow, and I didn't understand why people were freaked out about it. I'd have people asking me, like, do you drink alcohol? And I'd be like, no. So you work there sober? And I'm like, yes, I'm sober, 365. Why do I need to drink alcohol? Like, but then I would see when some of the families get there, especially most of the families that would like repatriate their loved ones to like your KZN and all of that, they would literally come there to the funeral parlor smelling like nje shapin, like needing the hot stuff just to get through this moment, And I would be like, that's weird, you know. That's like your brother or your whatever, Just you come in, you dress them, you go home, Like I didn't understand what was the weird or the freaky part about it, And some of the family members would be like, you really go there and really see them and witness them. And, some of them would even go to the extent of, please take care of my mother. Please make sure her makeup is perfect. Is she okay? Is she fine? Like they would literally be expecting you to be the one that knows what the family member looks like, and if the family member is comfortable and all of that, So it was a very, very weird job, but it was a job that I really enjoyed doing. I don't want to lie. In my lifetime, by far, even though I have a new job now, I feel like I will always feel like that is the best job that I've ever had in my life, And I think for me, it is just it was the accomplishment at the end of the day, the fulfillment at the end of the day of having helped this family through this difficult time when some people didn't even know. They were like me, they didn't even know what happens when a person passes away. you know they didn't even know you're supposed to receive a death certificate and go to home affairs and all of this. They didn't know. They were like blank, just like I was. And so for me, it was that fulfillment at the end of the day of having helped that family get through this terrible and difficult time or ordeal where you're so confused. You've never had to choose a coffin in your life, and now you are presented with a situation where you now have to choose a coffin where your mother or your father is going to go to. And like it's a lot of emotions that happen there. And for me, it was just that fulfillment or that accomplishment at the end of the day, that I helped this family get through such a difficult time. And it was also the families coming back to me, and saying, thank you, thank you so much. You've really helped us. We wouldn't know what we could have done without you. We didn't even know where to start or what was going on, but it's over now. And thanks to you, everything went well. Yes, there were days when things would happen that were beyond my control, because that's just life, and life just happens sometimes. We're going through times where there's like load shedding now and stuff like that, and you'd get to home affairs and there's no electricity. So how do we print out a death certificate if there's no electricity? And if there's no death certificate, you can't claim from the policies, and if you can't claim from the policies on time, you can't get the money on time for the funeral to take place. You understand? So there'd be certain types of situations that you would have to go through sometimes that are beyond your control, and it's the family is dependent on you to make this happen. So it was a very tough and difficult job, but it was a very fulfilling job at the end of the day, that I think I really enjoyed and really loved and will always love. And I guess it was also the environment that I worked in, because I worked in a really great environment, really great people, really great personalities, so much to learn, so many people to learn from. Everybody has their own perspective or weird story or experience or anything like that. So I really worked in a great formal but informal environment. And it really helped me grow, because I was a little girl when I started working there, a little girl, little naive girl that didn't know anything. This was like my first real job. So to have come across the people that I met and the people that I got to work with, it made the job easier, because we were all helpful to each other. We all knew when there was a difficult client or a difficult family, and we would all make sure we assist one another. Yes, days were not perfect, days are never perfect. Work is toxic, but personally, for me, I came across some great personalities that I learned a lot from and gained all the experience that I have today from, you know. And so I really loved that job. I really did. But would I do it again? Would I go back now? No, probably not. No. Um, I'm happy where my life is right now. I'm happy with the change. I wanted the change, and I needed the change, because sometimes when you do something for such a long period of time, even if you do love and enjoy doing it, but because you do it for such a long time, every single day, it starts being routine. Almost feels like, okay, I have to wake up at 6 o'clock. I have to go to home affairs. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to come back and home at home and sleep. I have to wake up tomorrow. You start living like a routine type of life. And so I just wanted change. And that's why in 2021 I decided, no, it's time. I've been here for almost 8 years. I've learned a lot. I've gained a lot of experience, but it's time for me to leave and venture out into other things and learn new things. But I don't want to lie, it was a weird job, a freaking weird job, but it was one job that I really loved and really enjoyed. And so that's how my story time ends today, of how I started working at the mortuary, or was working at the mortuary. And I hope you guys enjoyed my story. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.